All right, let's jump in and talk some basketball here for the second half of the podcast. Right at the conclusion of our last week podcast, there was the announcement of the format of the NBA's in-season tournament, the NBA Cup trophy revealed last week, as well as the format. And I'm all in on trying something different, local or national or in-season cups is something very popular in international football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, and has grown into be quite an important tradition and source of pride for a lot of fan bases in that sport. So why can't we bring it here to North America? And more importantly, does it ever open the door potentially for an international competition, Champions League style, with a Euro League and some of the other leagues that exist, right? Even if it will be a slapping every time, would you not love to see the Toronto Raptors play against the Scarborough Shooters, right? In the first round of some
The Shanghai Sharks.
Canadian championship, right? Exactly. Dwight Howard coming back from Taiwan to take on the Lakers, right? It
Hey,
would be
is that the
awesome.
plot of Space Jam 3?
Yeah, there you go. So all for it. Excited to see where it goes. The stakes aren't incredibly high, but it will matter to kind of the bottom half of these rosters with the prize of $500,000. And I like the way that they've incorporated it to the season. So every Tuesday and Friday in the months of November, and I think the later half of October,
I think
those regular season games are going to count towards the NBA Cup standings while also being counting towards the regular season standings. They're going to be split into the four divisions, and it is going to be the top team from each of those divisions plus
6.
two wild cards. Yes, sorry, six divisions. That's why it was screwing me up. Six divisions of five teams. The top three on each conference. So the winner of each division plus a wild card from each conference. And they will play quarters, semis, finals, single elimination. The finals is the only game that does not count towards the regular season. That will get played in Las Vegas on my birthday, December 9th. And I'm pumped. It just gonna add a little bit more intrigue to the regular season where things can slog. I think them adding the minimum requirements on the awards for next year mixed in with this NBA Cup is just going to make next year's NBA regular season more exciting. So all for it.
There is an interesting phenomenon I noted last year where we got 10, 20 games through the season and I felt bored already or like impatient for something to happen and for stakes. So I wonder how this will address and affect that. I think one thing I heard like Adam Silver say is that we're aware building the tradition and the importance in stakes is a process that takes time. This isn't something that's going to happen overnight. So pointing out that there's no tradition in stakes and this is all meaningless does feel somewhat hollow. This is something that Silver has been very keen on making happen for many years, and he finally gets his wish. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. I just don't really see, like, I think the playoff or the play-in was a really like easy, surefire, great idea because the stakes tie into stakes that already really matter, the playoff stakes, and it like addressed this very real phenomenon of tanking and seems to have done something for it and just like added more tension, more drama at the race of the season as teams try and stay in those 5-6 as opposed to those 7-8 spots as well. This is like much more than that. This is asking to conjure something out of nothing. And it'll be interesting to see how the teams that make it to the semis and finals of these conference groups compare to the playoff rivals, because the way these groups are made is they divide each conference into 1 through 3, 4 through 6, and so on. So you have like those 5 tiers, and one team from each of those 3 team tierings is placed in a group to make the 3 groups in the conference. So the top three teams of the East last year, the Bucks, the 76ers, and the Celtics will not play each other in the group play. And I think most teams in the East haven't really changed that much. Those will be the teams with the best chance to advance. So, like, do we see a heated Bucks versus Celtics, one game take all stakes matchup in there, or Heat versus Celtics maybe? That draws and adds to some of the tension that's already been established in the playoffs. My hesitation, though, is that like these rivalries don't feel very present in the regular season. Like think about Joel Embiid just skipping the matchup against Nikola Jokic in March and how like non-big deal that kind of was. Like I think we get a little excited for our Christmas Day special matchup and whatever, but no one's talking about these games a month after they happen. And
Maybe not.
I don't know that the play-in that the NBA Cup games will be any different.
I'm going to disagree there, where the reason why we were so disappointed that Joel Embiid missed that game was because of how exciting the first one was, where that was the first kind of mark that you can check off that led to his MVP season, was where he went and welcomed Jokic into Philadelphia and dominated him. And these regular season games between top teams, there's always a couple on the calendar that have that elevated level of intensity. Remember a couple of years ago, like Lakers playing the Bucks, Giannis was on the ascent and LeBron turned it on for that game, right? There's going to be games where Miami and Boston, the first time they see each other, it's going to be a dogfight. It just those games have a little bit of extra meaning. And I don't know if adding it to the NBA Cup is going to increase the intensity, but for those top half guys, they're going to have to bring it, just in a sense that it's two good teams still going at it. And then really the bottom half of the rosters, I think, are going to play up in those games because of the financial incentive that they're going to have.
It's interesting. We'll see how that weighs into it.
Yeah, I'm willing to give it a shot, especially as a Raptors fan.
Yeah, it's happening.
Who knows we don't have a shot at the title this year, so maybe we can win something else.